Okay, so let's go on with what we're talking about now, which is moving from looking at individual animals where the well-being, welfare can be fairly straightforwardly taken into account in terms of a reasonably standard sort of ethic. You just have to extend our concern about suffering to non-human animals, to the more difficult questions about values in nature. So let me start with an iconic image of a wild animal, a wolf. And I start with this for a couple of reasons. But one is that, these are kind of iconic species that people typically think of when you think about species preservation, that you want to preserve animals like this, that they're beautiful, they're interesting to see, they're a part of ecosystems, and so that's something that, at least nowadays, probably unless you're a rancher worried about wolves attacking sheep, maybe lambs, something like that, you're probably in favour of preserving wolves. And indeed, wolves have not only been preserved, they've actually been reintroduced to some of the lower 48 states where they used to be, for example, around at Yellowstone National Park. But it's not very long ago that attitudes were quite different. You've got some reading in your reading from Aldo Leopold, but this quote is from a different essay, though, in the same book as the Land Ethic. And this is part of a story that he's talking about when he was younger. So this was written in 1944. He might have been talking about time in the 1920s, or perhaps in the 10s, I'm not really sure. But he's talking about being in the wilderness with a group of friends, and they're up on a rock above a river, and they see a wolf come down to drink. And more or less immediately they pull out their rifles and start shooting the wolf without much thought. And the underlying reason behind it, he says, is just, well, that's what you did if you saw a wolf. Wolves were bad. For one thing, they kill deer, and humans out in the woods would like to hunt deer. Deer is good to eat, wolves are not good to eat. So if there are fewer wolves, there'll be more deer. And if you could get rid of wolves altogether, then it'd be like a paradise for hunters because there would be so many deer. So that's the kind of thinking that he talks about in this essay. Then he says that actually then, after they shot the wolf down in the river below, they went down to it